So after all the bad weather we've been having, you see here we have blue skies and everybody's out enjoying the elderflower. So we said we go and pick a few, but clearly every bee is out thinking the same thing. Claire reckons there might be action in the hive and that's why they're a bit grumpy, but they were bothering us collecting the elder, so Claire donned the spacesuit, and there's just one bee that's just hanging around her head. Lots flying around, but this one I think is trying to get in. Might have a look at the hive out from the other side. Very active hive. The flight path does seem to be straight to the elder and back, Claire. Yeah. There's not a single bee on the other elder. Look at that. Look at that fella. Well folks, the elderflowers are open on this sunny day and the bees are buzzing all around them. In fact, they were so bad, Claire had to put on her bee suit, and somebody came to pick up something just outside our house and I actually got stung. For the first time that I can remember, I got stung. Maybe the first time I ever got stung by a bee. But I'm not swelling up, I don't seem to have reacted too bad to it. Maybe I got the stinger out in time. Anyway, we let the bees away at the elderflower. Now, check this out. We got quite the mother load of elderflower. Now, I estimated that this is 1/8 of the yield of one of our trees right now. Now, even if we picked every flower off right now, it's still going to produce more flowers. So maybe about 1/20th of our tree we have here. We don't want to take all the flowers because the bees they don't seem to be going for it. They're very lazy bees. They just go like from their hive 5 meters to the tree and back to their hive. So it is. Now, as we can see here, Claire has already done a savage batch of elderflower cordial. She ran out of space in her jug, in her bowl, so she's using the jug and she's just straining the last bit into a new bowl. And what I'm going to try now is champagne, elderflower champagne. It seems pretty easy. Hugh Farnley Whittingstall has a really simple recipe. He put his, I think, in a dust bin, like a garbage can. It was clean, it was new, I think. But it's pretty much sugar, water, elderflowers, and lemon. That's it. I said I'm gonna have a go. I did actually buy a nice bit of kit. So I bought a correct container like this, and it's for home brewing. So I want to try and brew some wine as well. And I've just sterilized everything now. This is to let the gases release. I'm going to give it a go, and I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to check it out. One of the first things we have to do, apparently, is to add sugar. Now, I've gone through about 20 recipes, and I'm going to make 25 liters, or 24 liters. It's around 30 bottles of champagne. And from the recipes that I've seen, I've seen people use 5 kilograms of sugar. I've seen people use 2 kilograms of sugar. But I've seen quite a few at around the 3, so I'm going to use 3 kilograms and hopefully it'll be okay. I think if you use less sugar, it'll be a bit more dry, and it also means it's going to be lighter because the sugar is what turns to alcohol, I think. Claire just 2 days ago, she said we need Claire asked for a pack sachet of yeast for champagne, for elderflower champagne. And I went looking for a sachet, and then I found all these kits and I went down a rabbit hole, and so we don't really know what's happening, but we're going to give it a go. But anyway, I have 3 kilos of sugar, and I have just started to get the sugar to dissolve in some hot water. So the sugar is all dissolved now into the hot water. I am going to tip it in there. I don't know how much hot water is in it, but I have a level here, so I'm going to bring it up to my end, where I want to be basically. There's a little bit of sugar left. I wonder will I try and take that out. I would say 98% was dissolved. Anyway, this is done. I guess now I just have to fill it up to 25 liters, really. I'm gonna pop it into my big ass sink. Just let it go. Okay guys, so I know that's a lot. Careful, it's all sterilized. Right, so we have 25 liters of water, and the sugar is well and truly dissolved now. So I think the next thing we need is the lemons. Right, so we have our lemons here. I think I'm just gonna time lapse this. We need, I think, around 10 or 20. Claire's gonna double check. First off, we need to boil them because there could be some residue on the skin, maybe wax. I'm not sure if these are waxed or not, but we just blanch them quickly in boiling water. Then we need to grate them, then we need to juice them. But I've just quickly blanched all of these tomatoes, or I've quickly blanched all of these lemons in boiling water. A little bit of wax came off, so I'm glad I did that. Now, what I also decided, because we picked twice the amount, I forgot we picked twice the amount, was that we're actually going to do 2 batches. So I think this is going to make us 60 bottles of elderflower wine, and we're going to put them in 2-liter plastic bottles. I'll show you later. So we're only going to have like maybe 25, 30 of those, but they should last us for about 8 or 9 months. Anyway, long story short, I'm going to actually do 2 of these. So I just had to quickly sterilize a second container, and I'm adding sugar to that at the moment. I'm going to put you on time lapse. I'm going to process the zest off 10 of these, and then I'm going to juice 10 of them and add them in here. I think I'll do the elderflower. I won't show both of these happening. I'll just show one at a time. So let's go. So I've done the second lot. The first lot I'm going to do right now. This is the rind, very finely round, of 10 lemons. And I'm going to add those 10 lemons to my sugar water. I was just thinking, there's 3 kilos of sugar to 25 liters. That is going to make more of a dry champagne, I think. It's certainly not going to be sweet. It's going to be dry, and there's not going to be much alcohol. I'm hoping this is going to be about 11%, 10 or 11%. So a nice light sort of a champagne you enjoy in the middle of the day, as opposed to a heavier fortified wine that you're gonna just drink in the evening and then go to sleep. That's the way I'm thinking. So that's why I went a little bit light on the sugar. Because I'm going light on the sugar, I'm also going light on the lemons. If I was to put 5 kilos of sugar in here, I probably would put closer to 20 lemons in each, but 3 kilos of sugar for 10 lemons, rind and juiced, and then I'm just gonna half this, and I can't however as many there and I'll throw it in. But for now, let me just pop in these. All right, this comes to just over, it's exactly a pint, so it's just over a half litre, so that's going to increase our overall capacity of what we're making to about 25.5 litres. So that's pretty cool. Lemon is absolutely my favourite. I love all sort of lemon desserts, lemon cheesecake, lemon meringue, and cordials. I like lemon, so I really love the elderflower with lemon cordial, and I'm hoping this is going to be a really nice champagne, and I gotta tell you, the smell inside in here is just divine. From Claire's lemon elderflower cordial and from everything I've done with lemons here, it is spectacular. The aroma is so strong. I'm gonna pause you again. I'm gonna process these. By processing them, I think what I'm gonna do is, this is a floret of elder. I'm trying not to shake it too much because the pollen can come off, and the pollen is part of what makes it nice. There was a lot of bees. Hopefully you have seen the footage by now, but I'll slow motion a shot here of the bee. I say they have cargo pants because they carry the pollen on their legs. They kind of use a wax and build it up. That's like cargo pants. But yeah, it's just incredible. I don't know, can we zoom in on this? Maybe you can see there at the very tip, it's a little yellow pollen. So we want a lot of that. I don't want much of the stalks, so this is okay, I think. There's a little bit of stalk there, not a lot. Maybe something like that, we don't want the stalk. It is quite bitter. It won't make that much of a difference, but what we want to do is we just take it off like that. And then the rest of this, we should just pop it in. Before we do that, I think, I'm not sure really how to divide this up. Of course, I just got carried away and I stopped counting, and Claire had her bee suit on. And I think she wanted to get it done as soon as possible because the bees were a bit crazy, so she was just plucking them. So we don't actually know how many are here. I suppose it would be sensible to count them. Let's do that. It's taken too long to count them individually, so I just kind of got small sort of handfuls, something like that, which I feel is probably close to a floret. In actual fact, it is one big floret and maybe a few small bits. So I'm calling that one. So I think I have to roughly half. Maybe one will be stronger than the other, I don't know. So right now what I'm going to do is I am going to take off the green bit and pop it in. And I'm going to do this for all of it. Hopefully all the creepy crawlies are gone. And I'll come back to you. Oh man, that was a lot of work. So, oh geez, I'm glad I would only be doing this once a year. So hopefully this would get us like maybe 60 bottles of champagne. or 30 plastic containers of champagne. I think this is gonna last maybe 6 to 8 months, so hopefully this will see us into the new year. I don't think I have to make any more, but if I was to make more, I'd say it'll probably be cordial. We'll leave a few of the berries up there to see if we want to take a chance on elder wine. I'm not sure, but I think this should be more than enough for us. So what I'm going to do with this one, because I have one of them, is I'm going to seal this fella down. Now, hopefully, we're gonna be looking, I think, in 2 to 3 days, hopefully, depending, it'll ferment. It is quite warm now. I think it's about 21 degrees in this kitchen, 22 degrees in this kitchen. So there should be plenty of opportunity to ferment over the next few days. What I'm gonna be looking for is mold on the top of it. I'll check every day. I won't stir it or anything, but hopefully we'll see mold, and when the mold comes, I think that's ready to decant it into a second container, and at that point we will look at bottling it somehow. I've never done this before, so I don't know is that correct or not. I need to put some vodka in this actually. So apparently water can still let bacteria in, and we don't want that, so some sort of I think alcohol I think is the best really. Gas can then escape up this sort of container and get out, but flies or insects cannot get in. I think we just don't want to decontaminate. I think that looks good. Alright. I don't know what we do with the lid then. I suppose we roughly put the lid on top? I don't know. Now, I have ordered a few more of those. They're not here yet. I don't have a lot of equipment, so I am going to put a tea towel over this. If I have one large enough, actually. Okay, so that kind of fits. And then I'm loosely going to put the lid on top. So that means insects can't go in, but it's not going to stop the carbon dioxide from escaping. So I'm happy enough with that now, actually. I'm going to tidy this up, and I'm going to come back to you in a few days, see if we see some mold. Right now, I'm going to put these into some containers for Claire. Catch you later. So, just chatting with Claire after a long day, delighted to be having a cup of tea, and she said, how did it come up?
I said, did you put yeast in? You said no. I said, did you put white
natural
wine vinegar in? And you were like, crap, I forgot.
I forgot the white wine vinegar. Apparently you have to use a spoon because it corrodes or something like that.
A wooden spoon.
Sure. A wooden spoon. I don't know if I've forgotten anything else. But the white wine vinegar, I think you used 4 or 5, like, whatever you call this, wooden spoonfuls. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Did you have to stir it?
Don't think so. I don't want to cross-contaminate either. Oh, stinkeroo. Do you think I have to start?
I don't know.
Oh my god. Let's just have a look here. So we want to start producing wine, and the temperature is between 20 and 22 degrees centigrade, which is perfect for brewing this stuff. So it's a good time of the year to do it, actually, isn't it? Mm-hmm. This is a funny bottle. Funny box. I messed up, actually. I was trying to lift this and the container flexed, and I had this in, so it created a vacuum and it sucked vodka into it. So we have a little bit of vodka. Same
It's
again.
only running around after the neighbour's cows. Don't worry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that.
What's that?
Slice of lemon.
Oh yeah. You thought the mould was growing already?
Yeah, I did. It smells very vinegary. Oh, it smells of summer. Right. Let's pop this on. And hopefully we'll see you later. It's not getting down past the flowers, so I need to take out some of the liquid and try and fill this up until it floats. So I think this is 40, I would say 1.041. 1.041, let's see if that makes sense. I'll do a bit of Googling now to figure it out.
So what are you up to?
I haven't been keeping you in the loop. I've actually been taking a alcohol reading on these every day for the last 7 days, and it's really slowed down fermentation. So I've had to mix a little bit more yeast into it. I made 2 batches. The first one here had the lid on with the hydrometer, and so that was a very sealed unit, and that is at 1.04 today, and I want to get it to 1.01 to bottle it for the champagne, because that leaves 0.1 left to ferment. So it'll ferment in the bottle, and that's what gives it the fizz when you open the bottle. So my second batch over here was absolutely perfect. So I'm going to show you bottling that in a minute, whereas this one, I'm going to leave maybe about 3 or 4 more days, I think, just to get it to the right level. If I bottle it now, there's actually too much sugar left in it and it'll explode in the bottle, or in the plastic bottle as we're using. So even though it's been there for quite some time, I don't want it. The elderflower, if you have a look in here, the elderflower has been in there for maybe a week and a half, and I don't want it to kind of turn and to start to taste bitter. So I'm actually going to remove the elderflower from this, put it in a second container, and I'm going to leave this container sit for another 3 or 4 days, I think. Let it ferment further. Whereas these ones I'm ready to put into the bottle. So you join us just at the very end when I am trying to move it. It's like 25 litre containers. It's quite hefty, and yeah, it's hard to manhandle around. So now I gotta lift this up somehow. Right. And I had to sterilize everything this morning. Got out the Milton, the stuff you use for the baby stuff, do you remember?
Yeah. Well, there was something else they used for sterilising, but
I'm ordering it, that's coming
yeah,
this week.
Milton is fine though.
Milton will do the job. So this is noticeably a lot more bubblier because of the lid, whereas the other one I just had a tea towel over it.
This is the other one. The other one is kind of a bit pinker looking.
Could be.
Okay, so back and forth to the tap.
This just takes up so much space. We really have to like build dedicated.
We really have to think about this, yeah, where the bottles are going to be kept in. There's glass bottles and winemaking equipment everywhere. Look at my gorgeous foxgloves out there. Don't they look amazing? And of course the dog is posing for her moment with them. Hey Roo!
Right, let me pop this back up, Claire.
Yep. Put the dog in.
So this is super fucking heavy, 25 litres of elderflower champagne. There is going to be some party in our house in a few weeks. So, this is my hydrometer. Now, when I'm making wine, if you can see, My finger is a bit dirty. When I'm making wine, I want it between just under the 1. That means fermentation has stopped. Water is exactly 1, and when it's less than 1, that means there's a mix of alcohol and water in it, because alcohol is less dense than water. When it starts, it's about 1.6. So these two, I've gotten all the way to 1.1. I'm going to bottle it, so the final bit of fermentation will be done in the bottle, and that's what will give it the fizz. This one was about 1.4, so I'll just take another measurement. It's kind of cool. Have a look. You pop it in the water and you just spin it to get any bubbles off it. And you see this reading actually, yeah, it's about 1.35 actually. Now that I've mixed it all up. Well, it's still close to 1.4, isn't it? Still 1.4. You see that? Okay. So I'm going to seal this. I'm going to reseat my vodka. What's this thing called again, Claire?
I don't know, like gas exchange thing. I don't know what it is.
Bubbleometer. There is a name, an aerator or something.
Every time you walk past it, it makes a bubble noise.
The pressure builds up here, pushes down on that, and it goes. And that's the carbon dioxide leaving. So this is making something. We should have tried some actually. I'll get a little bit.
Damn it.
Yeah, because we did try the other one.
Yeah. Will I get a glass?
Yeah. I'll get a glass. So.
You get a glass. Really bored.
So this is what we got. I'll show you in a minute. This is our other one, which is 1.1.
Yeah, it's quite alcoholic taste of it.
I know, but it's only like 6% alcohol.
I know. I'm quite surprised.
When I bottle it anyway, it's going to have a strainer, so don't worry too much. No, that's how it tastes. Less alcoholic. More sweet. What you think?
Still tastes a fair bit of alcohol in it.
Have a...
But much sweeter.
Yeah, that's because there's still a little bit of sugar left to go.
That's quite alcoholic.
So what you do is you convert all the sugar to alcohol till you get to that.
Yeah.
And that's a dry wine.
Yeah.
Then you add back non-sucrose sweetener.
Oh yeah.
Like what's the one you use in like ketogenic stuff? Is it I can't remember what it's called. Monk fruit or some other fruit.
Oh,
you can
I
add
see.
to it.
Okay.
Get that
Grape
wrong-
juice or something.
Something like that. Well, grapefruit will turn to wine actually there. So you want things that won't turn. So you want to get it back to that stage. So we're quite a bit off with this, aren't we? It's amazing how two of them.
Yeah. That's really tastes good. Well, on an alcoholic scale.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more sweet.
And I think that's because I should not have put this on from day one, because I limited the amount of oxygen that was going in.
Yeah.
So I slowed down fermentation. With this one, I just put a tea towel over the top, and clearly lots of air was still getting into it, and that must have sped up the fermentation. So as I said, we're going to leave this. What was the reading? Say 1.38. I'm going to jot that down in my book. I have a little book here.
Get bottling this one.
So let's say today is the 8th of the 6th. The second one was 1.38. This was 1.012. So 1.01 was the target. So happy enough with that. And let's get bottling. And then in 2 weeks' time, it'll be nice and clear and we can get sloshed. Yeah? Okay, I feel I got to explain this a little bit. So, this is how I'm keeping track. I started off on the 28th of May with a half basket, around 50 to 100 elderflower heads. I was making 2 batches. Each batch had 25 litres of water, 2.5 litres of sugar water, must have been kilos, 2.5 kilos. I later realized that this is too little. So down here, I added 1 kilo to each of them on the 31st. So 3 days later, I added 1 kilo and I added champagne yeast. Anyway, going back up, 2.5 liters of sugar and 10 lemons, including the rind and the juice, and 4 or 5 tablespoons or wooden spoons of rice wine vinegar. Mix it all up, left it be. Okay, left that go, mix it up. Now, we did pick this very weirdly. So we picked our batch for champagne the day after it was raining. And everything we read said don't do that because the rain will have washed off the pollen and all the natural yeast. But we did that anyway, so we weren't sure whether it would work. And I had ordered champagne yeast, which is a small little packet. I wonder if I have it. Yeah, it's here. So this is for champagne yeast. But oddly, whilst actually there was no yeast and none of the champagne actually naturally fermented itself, which we wanted to try, all of the cordial has naturally fermented. So we have cordial in some nice bottles here, and we have to keep popping them because they're just fermenting and they're making so much bubbles that if we don't pop them, they're going to crack the glass. So oddly, our cordial has fermented, but our champagne hasn't. Anyway, this is our first time. We're all new to this. We did anticipate it. So at that point, we had no fermentation after 3 days. So I added champagne yeast and a little bit more sugar. The actual readings then, I started to accurately measure them. And we started off with 1.06 and 1.046. Now this has been very slow to ferment, and I gave it a very deep stir 3 days later, and I started to get a reading of 1.02. So it actually was fermenting, I think, down the bottom, but it was so dense. The dense stuff was down here, and I was measuring the top stuff, which wasn't dense. Similar thing happened with the second container. It started at 1.06. And I think that's because I added an extra half kilo of sugar to it. And it was slowly fermenting. I gave it a deep stir on the 6th and it came down to 1.04. And then today we measured it as 1.038. So I need that to drop down to around 1.02. So then I'm going to put it into these plastic bottles here. The plastic bottles will take the fermentation, and I'm not going to worry about these cracking like glass. Worst case scenario, the top might pop off, which ain't a big deal. At least there'll be no explosive glass. The first 25 liters is ready to be bottled. That's the 2 of these. It's a little bit cloudy still. After 2 weeks and the final fermentation, I think that'll settle and go clear. I'm going to give this 3 more days and just see how it looks. But anyway, I got a kit. I got a few kits. So I have 2 of these things for siphoning. This is an auto pump with filter. And this is just a siphon with a tap that you suck it at that end and it'll pull out everything at this end. I think I'm going to use this one. I don't need to worry too much about the sediment filter. That's more for red wine. As it happens, this is another 7-day kit for Chardonnay wine, and this will make 30 bottles. And this is another rosé kit for 7-day wine. That'll make another 30 bottles. Coming in about €1 to €2 a bottle. Like, why would you be buying it? Why have we been buying it in supermarkets for 10 or 15 euros a bottle when you can, you're just paying customs and excise and VAT? Anyway, I want to try these. If they work, great. We don't actually drink much. I think we had a bottle of wine last weekend, and it was probably a month before we had wine previously. So I am wondering, why are we suddenly getting 120 bottles of wine? But I did always want a wine cellar. So maybe they're gifts. Gifts for people, let's say. Because we actually, despite all this, we don't drink much. Anyway, let me empty a few of these plastic bottles and I'll come back to you. I have every expectation that this is going to be a Monster mess. Tasty. Then we just turn on. Cool. And this, in fact, I don't want it to bubble. I don't want the carbon dioxide to be released just yet, so. I had seen some sparkling wines, which maybe the other one might be better. You put the nozzle all the way to the bottom, just because you don't want any of the gas that's currently trapped in the liquid to be released. I see bubbles the whole way through down this pipe. That's amazing. The lower it goes, the quicker it flows. So I guess we'll do it this way. Apparently, the bacteria from your mouth is not an issue when it comes to wine or champagne, and it's a different type of bacteria you need to worry about. I think it's more airborne, kind of yeast derived. But anyway, any bacteria that is in your mouth, surprisingly, will be killed by the alcohol. So I'm going to be here for a while. Let me turn you off and I'll get back to you with my my booty, my haul of elderflower champagne. This is my first one done. One of the reasons we chose to use plastic bottles, again, it's our first time, so sure we're gonna make mistakes. But we saw a lot of people that said, if you put a little indent into the side of your bottle like that, and then seal it, when the carbon dioxide is released, this will pop out. So that'll give you an indication that the second stage fermentation is complete. I thought that was a pretty good idea, so I'm gonna do that. The only problem is once you open these, it's going to be 2 liters of champagne you have to drink. Is that a problem? We'll see. Well, that's quite a result. The first batch of elderflower produced exactly 24. A little bit of wastage, but I'm pretty happy with that. So we have a second batch of elderflower, which should also give us roughly 24 liters. So what's that, about 60 bottles of champagne? It's pretty good harvest. And we have, I don't know, we got loads of cordial. We've got 10 liters of cordial, and we have elderflower Turkish delights. So, I mean, this is what we're probably going to call the place, is Elderflower Farm. So I think it's really living up to that name. Anyway, when I got all of this equipment for making the elderflower, it came as a kit. It was a homebrew winemaking kit, and it actually came with this rosé. The brand is SG, which is a fairly decent, but this is a very generic rosé, so I'm not holding up high hopes. Again, it makes 30 liters. It just came free with the kit, so how bad? And I am going to make up that batch right now, so let's see how it goes. We are looking at 1.6. 1.6 should give us a final alcohol content of about 11%, which is actually spot on for a rosé. 1.6 will do fine. So that's the whole kit done. Apparently, I wait for 5 days and then we come back and we see what happens. See you in a minute. All right, I saved you the boredom. Here is another, what do we got? 25 liters of elderflower champagne from the second batch. And here we have our rosé. Now, this rosé ain't actually done. It smells bloody amazing. Look at that. Oh my God, I love rosé. I took a gravity reading on it this morning, and I'd say tomorrow it'll be ready for the second stage. So I'm going to leave it in here one more night. Tomorrow I'm going to transfer it to a new container and leave some of the sediment down the bottom. I have really nice bottles. I plan to put, these are 5 liter demi-johns, I suppose. So I plan to put the majority of it into this, into 2 or 3 of those. And the remainder I'll put in some nice bottles that I have that came from Germany. And I'll do the same with the white when I make that. I'll do the same with the red when I do that. I think I hear this. All of these are popping now, Claire.
I hear something, yeah.
There's only one left. So I told you when you put them in here, you meant to squeeze it, but within hours they're popping. Now the other ones down in the barn, I think I'll show you. But there's a little bit of indentations on this. But they've grown so much down in the barn that they've fallen over.
It's just round.
It's just pure rounds down the bottom. There's already sediment down there. In fact, let me go down the barn and let me get you one of the bottles. Into the cellar. This is another reason why solar and backup power is important to us. We have so many fridges because we buy our meat like by half animal. There's actually a whole pig gone in here. We have been buying half cows. So there is a half cow, but we now have got a whole pig, and we have some leftover venison. I think most of the pig has gone in here. This is some of the best pork you will ever taste. The mince is so juicy. The pork chops are divine. So much better, like leaps ahead of the store-bought stuff. So here we have our bit of a storage. Here we have a really old carboy that we found in the garden. I suspect that's about 20 litres. But look at these. I was telling you there was indentations on the side. You absolutely cannot see them. And the bottom of it is completely rounded. So far, Rooney, do you mind? So far, none of them have burst, but I am keeping an eye on it. I'm trying to give them a little turn every now and then, just to help with the sediment. But all of this is gas on top of it. And probably it all needs to come out. We're not really sure how to do it. I might show one here. I might bring this into Claire. So these are the 24 that I estimated, and there was a little bit extra, so I just put them into these bottles. I'm very cautious though, because I don't want these bottles to crack. But when I was taking this out, I didn't want to point it at my face, because that could just explode. But as I was showing the camera, you can see how there's little grooves here. This was just done today, and I can push it in. There's no grooves there at all. Completely swollen. But we had a friend over, Liz, last night, and we had one of these, and it was wonderful.
Oh, it was amazing.
But this should be left. It's been a week, and it's quite tasty. But the longer you leave it, it'll taste so much better. This can last, I think, 8 months. We're hoping to have a few left at Christmas, which I think may be possible, but so much gas, they just explode. Was it Claire or Liz had a good idea last night?
Oh, Liz. To open it over bowl, but maybe you want a deeper one, no? With the little pouring thing would be ideal.
So we lost about a glass. We lost about a glass of champagne when we opened this last night. Fizz just went everywhere.
It was crazy actually how much we lost.
So much gas. So I think I'm gonna burp these every week, just to like limit the amount of gas. But watch this. This is like, it doesn't look like there's a lot. It doesn't look like there's bubbles, but watch this. And it's good because the bubbles kind of clean the top of it. And then
Look
it
at
just...
that. It's just gone white with
Yeah.
bubbles.
the
Right
whole
down.
way.
There's some gas in that. That's ridiculous.
And I probably shook it around the place when I brought it up here. You know?
Oh, walking, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
But you think, oh, there's just a bit of fizz there, that's fine. It's all the gas is out now, but... Like, I don't know, do I just let it all come out? You know?
I really don't know. If anybody knows or has done this before, let me know.
About 3 minutes, I just let that go. Just to let it die down again. I'm going to open again. Now, I just want to show, because this is still rock hard.
The smell.
I still can't get anything out. The whole thing, you can see the fizz coming down. But this is the sediment. And what that is the discard from when the yeast eats the sugar. It converts it to alcohol. Byproduct is the carbon dioxide, which is the fizz, and the sediment, which is like the old yeast and the sugar. So in wine, you want to stir that gas out, but in champagne, you want it. You can see the sediment. See this here now? The sediment is falling back down. The sediment contains so much of the gas that you really don't want the sediment to be releasing more gas. So when you do champagne, apparently you're meant to use like a hollow cork, you know, the big champagne cork, and you turn the bottle upside down so the sediment goes into the cork. You freeze it, you pop out the cork, you put in a new cork. And that way when you open champagne, it doesn't explode like this. But the sediment is a problem. So you got to do this a few times. I wasted so much last night, I'm just trying not to. But like, I don't have all day, so we're going to do it a little bit. That might be most of it. It's a bit messy, we should have done this in the sink. Like, I love my sparkling water, but we have to force gas into it. This is amazing, there's no gas, isn't it?
God. Just keeps coming. Like a volcano.
So like, even if you burp these in the barn...
You're just gonna lose so much, aren't you?
We're done now, yeah. So that's what you want. You want this burped. And then in the barn, what you should do is you should just close it. Ugh. I just want to give this all a bit of a wash now. We can put that out.
Maybe we should have done that to start with.
And now the thing about this is it's completely clean, the top. Because I feel that was sediment on the top here. Do you remember it was a little bit dirty at the beginning? And you have a little bit of champagne. Will we try this or will we?
Yeah. I guess we should have washed the bottle first.
What do you mean?
Before you let it go down the dirty bottle.
Oh, will I get rid of this? So, yes.
No, leave it.
I will.
Leave it. I'll drink it.
Even if there was rats or things climbing
There's no rats in there.
Okay.
We have cats.
So, there's 3 ways to do this. This one is from last week. And this should be very dry. Because there was not a lot of sugar added to it. I'm not going to give you much now, Claire.
No, I have to go out and go to work.
The alcoholic calculation here is about 10 to 11%. So it's not very strong, but it is strong enough. So the 3 ways I want to try this. I want to try sparkling water cordial. I want to try champagne. There's a way apparently to make it sweeter without making extra alcohol is to put cordial in the bottom. So we have a soda stream, so this is how we just add carbon dioxide normally to things, I suppose. So here we have sparkling elderflower. So I suggest we try, just popped. We try a bit of this, then we try a bit of this, and then if you want, I'll put a little bit of cordial in. Right, let's try the sparkling cordial. I just love that.
Very, very nice. Really, really nice.
Now,
it's like it's just cordial.
Yeah.
So there isn't the alcohol in it, but it's super light and
very refreshing. Sweet.
Real summery.
Isn't it? Let's try this fella. Now, it's only been a week, but the longer you leave this, the clearer it'll go. So 2 to 3 weeks, I think this should be quite clear. It's just like a bit cloudy lemonade. Cheers.
Cheers. Smell of alcohol of it.
I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is nice.
Very dry. Super bubbly. Like crazy bubbly.
Super alcoholic. Considering it's only been a couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, the other one I added more to. This will go like, you'll add as much sugar as you want into it, but the yeast will eat all of the sugar and turn that to alcohol and bubbles. So it's very difficult to make it a sparkling wine, because with a wine, you can actually put in a tablet to kill all the yeast, and then you can add some extra sugar, and you can make it sweeter, like a Riesling or something like that, like a dessert wine. But you actually want to bottle the champagne with some of the fermentation still to go, because then inside in the bottle it'll create all the bubbles. So it's very difficult to make it sweet. So what I've seen people to make it sweet is to use, what's the keto kind of 0-calorie sweetener? Begins with an E.
Ethanol or something.
Something like that. You can add in that to make it. But if you do want it sweet, I've seen people say add in some of the cordial to your glass. Like so. And then, oh, still has the bubbles. Then add in your champagne. I'll probably put in too much sweet because I don't want a lot right now. Our neighbour came over last night and it was great to be able to put out a...
Oh my god. Champagne chaos. All over the kitchen.
Maybe I'm still suffering from last night. I just have to put the lid on.
But you know what the
Oh
problem
my
is?
God.
It's because it's so rounded at the bottom. It doesn't bloody stand up either.
Maybe.
So you just need one little knock of the bottle and it's gone.
And it's a shame because it's gone all over the floor now. But I would have totally drunk that. Actually.
Blooper.
Alright. Let me clean this and we get back to you.
Right, we're back.
Well, that was a disaster. Anyway, do you want to have a try?
Yes.
I'm very curious. I've never tasted this one, yeah.
It is lovely.
That's a bit too sweet, I'd say.
I actually think I prefer it without the cordial.
Do you?
Yeah,
I would say
you have an alcoholic drink. This tastes a bit like...
This does. I would actually try this with a quarter, the sweetness, or I would have put a full glass of alcohol because I put maybe a bit too much in.
I prefer it with just the...
Straight up booze.
Straight up alcohol, I do. Yeah. Because I think when you start adding sweeteners or some cordial, like it starts coming away from being... Does it turn into one of those like alco pop things?
Yeah, that's a good
that
shout.
our teenagers drink?
Yeah.
I don't like them. Nobody likes them. It's full of sugar and full of shite.
I'm very happy with this. I'm over the moon with the fizz. I didn't think I'd get something so fizzy.
Yeah.
I'm over the moon with this home brewer's kit.
Yeah, we've turned into...
I encourage you all to go make your own
of
wine and beer and stuff. It's amazing. The more people we talk to, it turns out everybody had been doing it. Not so much currently, but like 20 years ago, everyone was doing it.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is, and even we find it now, you've got to kind of have the space to do it as well, don't you? Like we are lucky that we can just dump boxes of it down in the barn.
Yeah.
But like if we didn't have that, it'd be just sitting in the kitchen.
Shed.
You know, so...
Yeah, my dad used to keep his in the utility. We had a small house in estate, so we didn't have much land, but he kept it, I believe, on top of the units, way, way high. And you'd walk in and smell like a brewery, all the beer that'd be going on. But apparently he had some explosions, so I think that's what stopped it. So we're happy enough to leave ours in the barn. If it does explode, it's no big deal. You just rinse it out. Cats will lick it.
The cats will be swimming in champagne.
Be steaming. Chasing the mice like, hey, I'm over here. But that's an unreal success. I'm so happy with that. Totally, you should try and get your own supply. And all the neighbours used to do it. We've heard since we've started it, just with elderflower, We've heard your dad used to use nettle for beer, nettle beer. They make, apparently, gorse wine is something that's really nice.
Yeah,
kind of coconutty.
I think we might have missed the...
Rowan berry we should try, or
Yeah,
the
missed that
elderberry.
now, but-
And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of things we can try. Let's do it. It's good fun. It's a lot cheaper than
Oh, completely.
paying the government
Jesus,
like
yeah.
50% in VAT for nothing.
Ridiculous, the amount of alcohol, the cost of alcohol in Ireland is crazy.
And it's so simple, sugar and yeast. Like, where would you be going wrong? So I'll give you an update as the rosé comes along. I'll just kind of throw you a few bits here and there. But yeah, I might also give you an update in maybe a month's time just to see how clear these bottles are going. I'm very keen to see how that happens. And hopefully if there's some left at Christmas, we might have a toast. Till then, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Slán go fóill.
Gur míle maith agat.